Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the motherfucking depression, okay? Let me stop. Anyway, welcome back to Black YouTube Unplugged, okay? So, let me get into this story time. Hopefully I can do this really fast because I really don't like to do long videos. It's 3:08. I gotta be somewhere at 3:45. Okay, let me see. Can I do this? So anyway, y'all know I was in a car accident. So let me make it plain or whatever. So I was driving in the far right lane down the street. For the people that's from New Orleans, I was by Carrollton and Banks. So I'm driving down the street and I'm in the far right lane, the turning lane, and we coming to a red light. So we wasn't driving that fast. That's why the impact wasn't as bad. So I started getting sideswiped by a truck, and the truck swiped me from my trunk to my hood. So I literally had to start beeping the horn for the person to even realize that they had hit me, because their head was down when I turned and looked. So when I beeped the horn, the boy head jumped up and he was all startled, and so I jumped out the car. I directed him to move to the side. He didn't know how to drive. He was about to hit my car again. He, later on, I found out that he was 16. So I told him, call your parents. While he was calling his parents, I called the police. So meanwhile, his daddy pull up in this like Suburban, some big long SUV. So his daddy jumps out the car. He's like this fast talker, tall white guy, got some money because his son went to Jesuit High. Y'all, if you're from New Orleans, you already know, private school, whatever. So he comes, he looks at my car and he's like, oh, I'll write you a check right now. This is probably going to be like $1,500 to $2,000 worth of damage. I'll write you a check right now. I'll give you a little extra for your inconvenience, but let's just get this over with. And so I'm like, well, sir, I called the police. And he was like, oh, why did you call the police? My son is only 16 years old. He only has a permit. Somebody's supposed to be in the car with him. So this can stop him from getting his license in 2 years. And, my insurance company is going to be notified and all this stuff, right? So I'm like, well, the police have already been called, so we're just going to have to sit here and wait. Now, mind you, I have full coverage insurance, so it wasn't even really about my car being fixed. My car was going to be fixed regardless, whether it was a hit and run or whatever. My car was going to be fixed, but I just wanted to do things the right way. So anyway, while we waiting on the police, he's coming back and forth telling me all these stories about how his son is a good kid and he's on the honor roll and he was up last night late. And so I told him, I said, did you ask your son what happened? And he was like, no, what happened? So I told him the whole story. He's like, oh my God, that damn phone. We're going back and forth about that. So the police come. Now, before the police come, he tells me, I'm going to tell the police that I was in the car with my son. And I'm like, you could do whatever you want. I really don't care. I just want this to be handled and I can go about my business, okay? So the police come. He takes our information, blah, 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 blah. The police tells me to get out the car, come to my trunk. He tells the man to get out the car, come to my trunk. He puts a citation on the back of my trunk and he tells me to sign it. He tells me that it's my fault. And I'm like, it's not my fault. I was hit. Everybody has agreed that I was the one that was hit. So how can you make it my fault? And he was like, well, ma'am, from my interpretation, it was a failure to yield. And I'm like, how are you telling me it was a failure to yield? I said, don't even make sense. I was in the right lane. I was about to turn right. He was in the left lane and he sideswiped my car. So how are you making it my fault? I'm not signing the citation. So he's like, well, if you don't sign the citation, I'm going to have to arrest you and bring you to jail. And so I said, well, can I call a lawyer? He told me no. Okay. I wanted to call my dad's friend who was a lawyer because I wanted to know, what is the smart move? Sign the citation and deal with it on the back end. Don't sign the citation and deal with it on the back end. I wanted to know. He denied me that right. So he said, I'm going to have to take you to jail. So I said, okay, you can take me to jail. Before he decided to take me to jail, he said, well, this is not an admission of guilt just because you sign it. I said, yes, it is. He said, well, you can just refute it through the courts this. I'm like, I just got into a car accident. I have enough paperwork and things I'm gonna have to be doing, making phone calls, whatever. Why would I want to go through the hassle of refuting a ticket? Why? When I didn't do anything wrong. And so he was like, well, I'll just have to take you to jail. So the father literally takes the ticket from the officer and tells the officer, I'm gonna handle this. You can go. And so the officer asked me, well, are you in agreement that y'all don't need me? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, what is my other option? Go to jail? So the officer leaves. So now I'm here with the man of the kid who hit me. The officer has gone. My hand has already been shown that it's going to be considered my fault. So I'm basically at this man's mercy. Not really, because like I said, I could have did it myself, but I'm at his mercy. So he tells me, take my number, take my business card, I'm going to call you tomorrow and we're going to handle the situation. I'm like, whatever. So I leave, I call my husband, I tell him everything. He's upset with me. He don't understand why I would put myself in a position to want to be arrested, all this stuff. I'm not surprised because me and my husband, we think differently on a lot of things. So I'm more passion driven. If I didn't do nothing wrong, I'm not going to fall into line like I did. He was more on the logical, just do whatever you have to do to get home type mindset. Whatever. I called my dad and told him what happened. And once you call your parents, everybody knows. So my sisters knew, everybody knew. So when I picked my daughter up, I went by my dad, and they were all like, "Oh, you should have took the check. You could have had extra money. You should have took the check, whatever. You could have got your car fixed and just had some extra money to put in the bank or whatever." So I'm like, I don't care about that. I just wanted my car to be fixed, and I wanted it to not be my fault. That's all I cared about. I didn't wake up looking for extra money. I woke up driving, being normal, and somebody, because they're not paying attention and because parents are sending kids in the car with no guardian and they have a permit, I'm in this situation now. And so they're like, oh, whatever, you always trying to do things this way. I'm always trying to do things by the book. I always try to do the right thing. And I realize with this situation, sometimes it backfires on you when you try to do things the right way. So anyway, I go home. My husband is still upset with me, and it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie to people about marriage. Marriage, you're not gonna agree on everything, and sometimes it's better to. The one thing I can say about me and my husband is that we don't like to argue. We like to just separate, as far as, being in the same room or whatever. And then when we both come to a common headspace, then we talk about it and move on. So, he was upset with me. I was already frustrated. So I went to bed. The next day he was like, you should just go through your insurance company because that man is probably going to stand you up. You won't be anywhere to be found, whatever. I took off from work. I hit up the man through text that I wanted to test the waters. I didn't just want to straight up and call him. I just tested the waters with text. He texted me back. He told me that he was in Mass and that when he got out of Mass, he would call me. So he called me and he asked me to meet him at a collision center. I went to the collision center. He came out. He came out with one of the workers in there. He let me know that he already spoke to them, that his name is on file for my car, and that they were going to fix my car and that he was going to pay for it. He then told me that he wanted to get me a rental car, and that did I trust him enough to drive up the street to Enterprise so he could get me a rental car. I told him I didn't need him to do that because I have other cars that I could drive. He insisted, so I said, okay, what the hell? Because really, I didn't know what to expect, so nobody kind of knew where I was. So it was like I was going to have to call my husband or my dad or catch an Uber to get home. So I was like, you know what? This is better. Let me just get this rental car and, go about my day or whatever. So we went to Enterprise. He put everything on his credit card, made me the primary driver. whatever. I still have the rental car. My car is still being fixed. And he did everything that he said that he was going to do. And after we separated, I texted him and I said, thank you for being honest, and thank you for doing the right thing. And he texted me back and he told me, God is with you. You just have to believe. You just have to have faith. And if you ever need somebody to pray for you, reach out to me and I will pray for you. And above everything, above my car being fixed, above all of that, that was the most impactful thing to me, because on a side note, I was talking to another content creator about church stuff and all that type of stuff. And about 10 years ago, like, people who've been following me, y'all know that I said that I was a part of a very strict religion, whatever. Like 10 years ago, I left the religion, but I still have a strong relationship with God. But sometimes when you are in a strict religion, you feel like if you're not a part of an organized religion, you really don't have a relationship with God. And when you doing things independently and just being spiritual and a follower of God, you don't really know. Like, sometimes you second guess, like, because I'm not a part of this religion, does God even recognize me? Am I still his child? Like, you know, you have those thoughts. I know I have those thoughts. And I always used to ask God for a sign to let me know that you still recognize me. I'm still your child or whatever. And for this whole situation to happen, and for me to just thank this man for doing the right thing, and for him to text me back and tell me, God is with you. You just have to have faith and believe in him. That was above all, like, everything to me. Because it's like, you be asking God for certain stuff and you don't get it when you asking. And like, just randomly, a whole entire accident had to occur for me to get the answer to something that I've been wondering about for years. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, and I'll post the text conversation on my community feed because I don't really know how to edit that in right now. So, yeah, that's what happened, and it is what it is. I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.